Welcome back, Benchwarmers. NFL free agency is underway. We've got a few big moves that we've got to discuss.
Oh man, Brendan is back to getting his fix of the NFL.
Well, yeah, it's more like a teaser since they aren't going to be playing any games anytime soon, but you know what? I'll take it.
Well, let's jump into it and see who is going where for the 2025 season. I'm Corey, Worried Titans fan.
And I'm Brendan, craving NFL content, and this is RV from the Bench. Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see or hear, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us, come on, it's free. It's free for you, it's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
Well, Corey, NFL is here, almost, kind of, not really. We haven't even had the draft yet, but you know what? Free agency is the start.
Yeah,
exactly. Free agency is the start. Yeah, thank you for making me sound like a drug addict. Perfect. Get my fix. Oh, I love it. It's so good. All right. Well, we've got honestly a lot to cover. We're not going to go too into detail about everything. If you want to know about it, how much they signed for, what fourth round draft pick they got in exchange for it, feel free to Google all of it. We're going to hit you with the names and exactly kind of who's going where. Let's start off kind of with a big one here. There's a lot going on over in this NFC North town. They have a lot to kind of work with, but they also have a lot of expectations, especially with a new incoming coach. The Bears have been busy so far, man. Obviously, you know, getting Ben Johnson means that there's a lot of hope, especially for the offense. Having Caleb Williams come back for his second year, there's a lot of hope going there. Looks like they shored up the line the most. So what are we seeing most out of Chicago, or I guess coming into Chicago right now?
Yeah, big thing, like you said, is getting it hopefully a line built for Caleb Williams so he doesn't have to run for his life like he did all of last season.
Pretty much.
And with Ben Johnson obviously being the head coach and the offensive guru he is in Detroit the last couple of years, he wants to be able to build a line to then have Caleb have time to, kind of make some of these plays actually happen. So going out and signing center Drew Dahlman and then trading for guard Joe Thuney. Is it Thuney? Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. And guard Jonah Jackson. So they just beefed up their entire offensive line and are trying to
make in the middle there too. Guard, center, guard. Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to try to protect Caleb again, give him time and opportunity to throw because they have a lot of weapons. We looked at it last year thinking that, he's young, but he still has a lot of pieces to work with, but they just could never keep him on his feet. So this is the start of hopefully keeping Caleb up and giving him an opportunity to create some offense, but also he needs to get rid of the ball. Don't hold it forever too. There's got to be some learning there too.
True. One thing that I think it will help as well is something that Ben Johnson was very used to in Detroit, which is a good running game. Having a good offensive line means that it's not just up to Caleb Williams to try to, one, run for his life, like you mentioned, but two, make everything happen. Giving the ball to DeAndre Swift in the backfield is something that even the Eagles saw success with. I get they kind of are successful with anybody who's in the backfield, but DeAndre Swift can play. So getting him some running room will also take a lot of the pressure off of Caleb Williams to have to do everything, along with just giving him that time that you mentioned previously. They didn't just work on the offense though. They ended up picking up Dayo Odeginbo. I probably definitely said that right. Odeingbo. Sorry, sir. A defensive end. They also got tackle Grady Jarrett. Of course, I get the white guy's name right. I'm sorry. For another defensive tackle there. They also re-signed safety Tavarius Moore. So they know that their defense was pretty good last year. They don't want it to slide too much, but really Ben Johnson being the offensive coordinator, the focus is really on offense.
Yeah, and again, the Bears building the line on both sides. As they say, the game is won in the trenches. So if that's what they're doing, they're going all in and trying to build from the football out, as they say, or the center out. So again, Chicago should be excited, but we said that last year with Caleb getting drafted, but we knew that with the coach there, Eberflus, there was still like a lot of questions of what was going to go on. I think this year with Ben Johnson, and as we talked about, this building of a line in front of Caleb is going to be a huge difference maker for this team moving forward.
Yeah, agree. So yeah, that looks good. Let's move on then. We got not a lot of information here really about the young guys, right, with Caleb Williams. Well, there's another young guy whose team is really going for it. Actually, the young guy, if you think about it, not necessarily pre-draft, but definitely post-season, was Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. They're not making off-season front office moves like they were last year. It seems like they've pretty much figured it out in one off-season. But man, did they need some help for Jayden Daniels, and that's kind of what they went out there and got. they not only gotten him an offensive lineman in Michael Dieter, but they went for it as well with getting trades and other acquisitions. Give me some of the players that have started, and I'll kind of finish up some of them.
Yeah, so the first one that I think of that they went all in for Jaden Daniels is getting Laramie Tunsil from Houston as the left tackle, so to protect Jaden Daniel on his weak side, which again is going to be a huge thing for him to be able to stay up and have time in the pocket to move around and do his thing. And Tunsil, multiple Pro Bowls, like just a huge, big NFL offensive lineman that's been good for a long time in this league. So it's a huge thing for Jaden Daniels. And again, they're just going to get Deebo Samuel and only having to give up a 5th-round pick, which was basically nothing for him. So it gives him another weapon to go with Terry McLaurin. Like, there's a lot of things that they're doing right in Washington for a change with the Commanders, because before Dan Snyder, it seemed like everything they did was wrong. But this new ownership has come in. They've done a lot of great things, and Jaden Daniels is a big part of that and how they are where they are and where they're going to continue to go. Because if he can continue to progress in the right direction, this is going to be a good team for a long time.
Yeah, agreed. Adding that Deebo Samuel as another weapon as well. They added KJ Osborne, Noah Brown, and Zach Ertz. They re-signed him. So they bringing back people he's used to. They're bringing the kicker back as well. Marcus as a backup. I actually think Marcus is a good backup there. Veteran guy who's not really pressuring Daniels as far as like talent wise to take his job, but is definitely a good like serviceable backup. Obviously, I think he started a game they won. He went I think he threw for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. So he's still serviceable on a if you need him basis. So that was pretty good. They also went out and got Javon Kinlaw, Will Harris, Eddie Goldman, Jonathan Jones, and Dietrich Wise. A couple of the players we don't know, but what it kind of shows is that they're willing to acquire players that they think will improve their team. They're not just sitting stagnant off of an NFC championship run where they lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions. So a lot of stuff going on in Washington as well. Looking really good.
Yeah, and it helps that it was not only did they lose to the eventual champion, but it's a division opponent in the Eagles. So they're going to have to get better regardless, even if they want to continue to hopefully even have a chance at winning the NFC East this year.
I don't know if I want to, I'm just going to say it now. It's been 22 years, unless this is the year that it's broken, the Commanders win the NFC East this year.
All right, there you go. That's right. I forgot about the streak. Hopefully that is true.
Yeah, so I'm going to call it now because there's no other real team. I mean, we could say the Cowboys, if they make a surprise run, I guess, but I just don't see that one happening. And obviously the Giants are just kind of in hell right now, so that's not a problem. It's really between the Eagles and the Commanders, and if history holds true, the Commanders should win it. So we'll see.
Go Commanders.
Moving on to the NFC West now, the Rams. Although they've got an aging quarterback in Matthew Stafford who was looking to shop the market, he decided to stay at home and shop online. Decided to re-sign with the Rams, albeit for a little bit less money and not what he was looking for on the open market. But the Rams said, look, bruh, we get that you're decent and we know that we want you back, but the amount of money you're asking for just ain't quite it. So they're able to find a number, and yeah, they're looking pretty good. Who else did they pick up?
Well, not only that, they had to convince Matt, like, we want you and we want to pay you what you think you're worth, but we also, if we do that, excuse me, we're not going to have anybody else to come in and help you continue to compete because we're going to cut Cooper Kupp. We already knew that was going to happen ahead of time. So then they're able to get Stafford to come back. But not only that, then they bring in Davante Adams for him to have as a replacement for Cooper Kupp. So Puka Nacua and Davante Adams and Tyler Higbee at tight end. That's a lot of nice weapons. And Kyren Williams.
Weapons too.
The Rams
big weapons.
The Rams look like, honestly, the NFC West favorite based on all the other teams that are in that
100%.
division. But not even that, maybe the best team that's going to give Philly a chance at a run for the NFC title.
Because they already were doing it last year. I mean, they were, 15 yards away from winning that game in Philly and then hosting the NFC Championship game. So
Blizzard, too, on top of that. It was an LA outdoor stadium team playing outdoors in the snow, and they hung with them and almost had a chance to take that win. The only team that really hung with the Eagles in the entire playoff run.
True. Commanders did in the first half of that game, and then it was kind of over for there. So, yeah, no, agree. Packers actually, you know what? If the Packers offense could, I mean, I don't know, do anything in that game, that would have been a closer game because the defense was kind of lighting them up. So, but Davante Adams and Poona Ford on the defensive side, I think, is a huge one. Getting another center and Coleman Shelton is good. So I think that's pretty good.
Rams seem to always retool the right way. They had that one year after the Super Bowl that went victory where they didn't win anything, didn't make the playoffs, but every year McVay is there, they are in it and always going to compete, and they always seem to do the right things as far as F them picks back in the day to get the Super Bowl, but now
Yep.
using the picks to build a great young defense. So
Les Snead, right?
yes, one of the
Yeah.
best in the league for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. Next team had a terrible season last year, but they've got a glimmer of hope. Actually, 2 glimmers of hope if you count it. Number 1 being Drake May. Looks like he's pretty talented even on an abysmal team. Number 2, getting a new head coach and Mike Vrabel coming over, looking to change I know, sorry about the loss there, Corey, but you know what? Let's give props to Vrabel. He's going back home where he won all of his championships. So they were quick to spend money. They had the most money to spend, and they were quick to spend it. Corey, where do they go?
Oh, well, heavy on defense for sure, as Vrabel is a former linebacker. So defensive tackle Milton Williams, tackle Morgan Moses, and then Harold Landry, who is coming from Tennessee and played for Vrabel when Vrabel was coaching there. So I think that's a huge piece of having to help implement whatever system Vrabel wants to put in there. Also, cornerback Carlton Davis and another linebacker Robert Spillane. So again, heavy on the defense because if Vrabel's going to come in and change that culture in there, that's what's going to happen. I think the best thing though about Vrabel is he's not a disciple coach from Belichick. He's not a Belichick tree guy.
He just played for him,
but he never coached under him. So I think that is a positive thing moving forward because every other person that's ever coached under Belichick has never been able to really win anywhere. So I think that's a positive that Vrabel played for him, but also did not coach under him and also has had his own success. I mean, he took Tennessee to the title game. I was this close to going to a Super Bowl, but it's okay.
Well, you've been to one. You kind of blew that too.
Yeah, well, no, but I was going to actually go if they made it. I was going to.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
yeah,
true. It's okay.
So yeah, so I like their spending spree. They're showing up I mean, honestly, depending on who you ask, most people will say football's really won in the trenches, right? I mean, it's a game of inches, and just ask the Eagles with the tush push how much the inches and the trenches really matter. To them, it's everything. So it's good to kind of see the Patriots kind of looping back up. Not because I'm a Patriots fan per se, but it's just good to see teams surround young quarterbacks with some help. You know what I mean? Like it kind of sucks to see them out on the island there. So yeah, good for them. We got like a weird trifecta. We're gonna slam all these people together just because they're kind of all related. They're not really related, but they kind of are related. The Raiders, the Seahawks, and the Steelers. They're kind of making offseason moves. They're just kind of confusing, I guess, with what they're trying to do. We'll start with kind of the easiest one, I think. Obviously, with the Raiders getting Pete Carroll in the building, they're looking to see if they could basically recreate the Legion of Boom, apparently. So they've traded for Geno Smith, which they 100% needed a quarterback. And Geno Smith is an upgrade over Gardner Minshew. But he might even be an upgrade over Aiden O'Connell. But, like, how much of an upgrade is $40 million roughly plus Geno Smith over rookie contract? Probably not going to get a fat re-sign Aiden O'Connell. Unless you're drafting a quarterback, why not just wait until next year? And I don't know, dude. Honestly, I watched Aiden O'Connell as being here in SoCal, they put Raiders games on a lot.
Yeah.
He wasn't that bad. And, when we had Devontae, he was the guy, or even Jacoby Myers. If he wasn't in the lineup, it was Brock Bauer. We were screwed. So, he's not terrible. I don't know.
I think part of the thinking in Vegas, too, is Pete Carroll is just over 70 years old, so they don't really have, like, this is a long-term project. Like, this is we need to win now. And Carroll is a change-the-culture guy quickly. Geno Smith had the best year of his career under Carroll 2 or 3 years ago in Seattle. So I think Pete Carroll sees it as it may be a little bit of an overpay considering what we have O'Connell for, but he knows what and how I want to run an offense and do things. And he's got a great tight end there, Bowers, that they drafted last year. So as a quarterback, if they can get a run game, which Pete Carroll is known to be a run-first guy, then they have a good tight end to do play action. And then Geno has like a decent year. The Raiders could turn around and make the playoffs, even if it's as a wild card, because the division's going to be hell with the Broncos being much better, the Chiefs still there, and obviously the Chargers. So there's a lot going on. But I think the Raiders think it's a quick turnaround. We can go again. How many times have we talked about a team goes from 4th to 1st in a division all the time in the NFL year to year? So maybe the
Raiders, but it's true.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, just based on the division, not because it's the Raiders. I mean, good luck getting past the Chiefs, Broncos, and the Chargers. That's
okay, but even if they were going from 4th to 2nd and they make a wild card, you know what I mean? Like maybe not winning the division is the crown. I guess you're right.
I'm just trying to, I was just being a little bit of a jokester. Yeah. Playoffs. I got you. Playoffs. Talking about playoffs. They also signed Raheem Mostert.
See,
so there's that. I mean, there's a reason why the Dolphins let him go and starting to hand the ball to Achane. So I mean, but again, let's kind of connect the dots here. So the Raiders got the Seahawks player, and then the Seahawks said, you know what? We also, since we're getting rid of our quarterback, we don't need to throw to anybody. So let's dump Lockett. We'll trade DK. So they traded DK to the Steelers, which pairs him again up with Russell Wilson. I don't know
Maybe.
if you saw this weird story. Wait, what?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Is Russell re-signed with
True. I don't
Pittsburgh?
know. He might. He might. I don't know who else. Now that Justin Fields is gone and they're not doing anything, my guess is they have to re-sign him.
I
But
agree.
did you hear the weird story about how is actually DK met his now fiance through Russell Wilson and Sierra? Did you hear about that?
See, there you go. So even more reason that maybe he wants to go back and play with Russ.
Yeah, it's super random. So, but then, so if we're talking about the Seahawks, so then to go back to the Seahawks, they cut Tyler Lockett, but then they decided, you know what? Actually, we're not going to be selling out. Let's go get Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp. So the Cooper Kupp, I mean, I guess, but the Sam Darnold, you paid him 3 years, $100 million. Now, a lot of Seahawks fans are saying, of what I've read, again, I'm not a Seahawks fan, but we got younger and cheaper. And to be honest with you, Darnold was a first-round top 10, I think. I think it was 5th, I think, overall. Top 10 draft pick. So people saw the potential. They're hoping that this offensive mind. Wait, is the new coach offensive minded or defensive minded?
No, he was the former defensive coordinator for Baltimore.
So they're hoping that, you know, he learned something in Minnesota and I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're doing. That's where we're confused.
Seattle is very confusing because, like you said, the things going out, you would think, okay, now we're time for a total rebuild. Bring in some
half rebuild,
bring in some old quarterback who's just going to take the hits, and you're going to suck, get a top pick, and try to get a quarterback next year because there's talk of next year's draft having more quarterbacks that are better. So maybe that's what. But I don't know. They just looked at the division, maybe that the Niners are falling apart, the Cardinals are just kind of still there, and
always average. Yeah,
really, it's just them and the Rams. And if the Rams, I mean, one bad hit on Stafford and the Rams go to Garoppolo, it's a whole different ballgame. So maybe Seattle sees themselves as if they can hang with the Rams for most of the year, they have a shot. But I don't know, Darnold and I mean, Cooper Kupp is great getting to go back to Washington where he's from originally. That's great and all, but he has been beat up and not played a lot the last 2 years. So I don't know what they're expecting to change in Seattle. So there's a lot of things going on over there. I don't know.
So we were just kind of confused. We decided to lump them all together since they were somewhat all connected in some weird way.
Yeah, the Steelers have to bring Russell Wilson back now. Then you're right. That would make sense. Aaron Rodgers would make no sense there.
Oh gosh, no, dude.
Come on, Rodgers, go to Minnesota, man. Complete the cycle. Do the Brett Favre thing. Do
the Brett Favre train. Exactly. All right, moving on. This time we're actually going to be talking about the Super Bowl champs. A lot of times after teams win a Super Bowl, besides the Chiefs last year, they kind of lose, everybody. And that's kind of what's happened here. They were able to keep Bond, the most improved player, I believe. Defensive linebacker. Great dude. Great player. But honestly, they lost a lot. Corey, can you want to rattle off some of the names?
Oh, man, so many. Okay, so Darius Slay they cut, who's been there a long time. They traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who isn't he the one that went to Detroit and then came back to Philly, and now he's back out of
Philly? Hey, won a Super Bowl, though, so it was worth it.
Don't buy a house in Philly when you're there. They also brought in Adoree Jackson to, I guess, replace him at that point. But still, again, lost Josh Sweat, Oren Burks, Kenneth Gainwell, Isaiah Rodgers. I mean, just Milton Williams. The list goes on and on. But like you said, every time a team wins, everybody's now fat and happy, so they go and get their money and get paid, and that's what happens. So let's see if the Eagles can come back and see if they can really be back-to-back actual champions. We just saw it with the Chiefs and a possibility a third in a row. Maybe we go another team back-to-back. That would be 4 years in a row back-to-back winners. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say that's probably not going to happen. And that's not even a knock on the Eagles. I just don't know how much now, because the biggest thing that they had was their insane defense and their offensive line. Now, their defense, we just talked about everybody that they lost. And bringing back Adoree Jackson, no offense to Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson 5 to 7 years ago, great player. Adoree Jackson going into the 2025 season, good player, but really old.
I didn't even know he was still in the league until you told me he signed with them.
Exactly. Cutting Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, while expensive, are pieces that really helped put you over the top as a Super Bowl champion. But the main piece that, again, they're keeping 4 of the 5 main people, but they're losing Mekhi Becton, the right tackle, who I get that it's not his blind side, but that's still a rushing side. Plenty of people, losing a tackle isn't that good. So losing a starter from the largest offensive line, the line that basically got you that tush push and Saquon 2,000 plus yards and Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff. You're losing one of the pieces at least. You know what I mean? So as long as everybody else is healthy, then fine. But
as you were saying, that's all I could think of is, well, Saquon had such a great year because of a great offensive line, but now you lose a big piece of that. Let's see how much that affects Saquon's ability to get to even 1,500 yards next year. I mean, I'm not expecting to get 2,000 again. Like, it's just
No,
ridiculous. But still, if even to get 1,500 again would be nice if they can continue to have a good line. But losing the right guard is a big piece. But again, not left tackle as the most important piece with Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
true. All right, let's moving on then. So speaking of, we'll kind of connect these here for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was traded, like we talked about, and he was traded to the Texans. Texans looking to improve. They did pretty well last year. I guess we'll kind of see what they can build on. CJ looks good, and no offense to you, but the division looks terrible.
Yes.
So they definitely have a chance. They went and grabbed C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Christian Kirk. Obviously, they did lose Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders, but adding another receiver since, they lost Stephon Diggs to injury. They lost Tank Dell to injury. Nico Collins was trying to do it by himself. So, grab another slot receiver. Christian Kirk is a little underrated, too. I think he's actually a pretty good receiver.
I'll say not only that, you got him from the Jaguars, so you take him from a team within your division, which is nice. And, he's basically, I'm assuming, replacing Stephon Diggs because I don't think he's coming back as a free agent at this point. So, but again, the Texans, it's kind of wide open for them in the South because the Titans, we don't know what the hell we're doing. As I alluded earlier, I'm worried. And the Colts are just kind of, who knows what Anthony Richardson's going to be. And the Jags are overpaying.
Well, wait. They got freaking Daniel Jones, dude.
Oh,
what are you talking about? Yeah.
Shit, bad.
Come on.
Woo. All right.
It's on the list because it's too big. We're going to do our own episode on, the Colts acquiring Daniel Jones. But, yeah, don't forget about it.
Oh, I honestly totally forgot about it because I know they're trying to get Anthony Richardson to be the future, but we don't even know if he's going to play. So good luck.
Yeah, if he feels like it, he will.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if he's not tired.
He's not too tired. No, we'll see. Okay, moving on then. We got another team who, honestly put up insane numbers last year, but literally couldn't even make the playoffs. Cincinnati. To be honest with you, man, I thought last year was like the year. I had them I don't know if you remember, but I had them winning the division at the beginning of the year. I thought they were going to be able to kind of break out. They had everything going for them, a healthy, Burrow going into the season, not starting off on a bad foot or arm or leg or ankle or whatever else he was starting off bad on. But Cincinnati seems done. And it all started with Sam Hubbard retiring and just kind of went downhill from there. No?
Yeah, and then Hendrickson wants to trade out of town because he wants an extension. He has a year left and they don't want to pay him. But apparently there's nobody out there really willing to pay anything high price to get him in a trade. So I don't know.
They want a first-round pick, at least a first-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, he did have 17 sacks last year, so I get that.
Yeah, he led the league in sacks.
Yeah, so I get it, but he's also not a young kid anymore either. I think he's around 30, so he's at that point of kind of going to start the downfall of his career, more than likely. They franchised T. Higgins, and he's mad because that's the second year in a row. And Jamar Chase gets paid fat, so they're trying to pay him both. And Burrow's not happy because they're not paying. I mean, it's a lot going on.
To win, and then he had a career year, and they went 9-8.
Yeah. And how many games did they lose by like one possession? Probably
like 7, I think. And losing to the Patriots at the beginning of the year is just, it's just. I don't know. I don't know if it's Zach Taylor or every year they start 0-4 and they have to dig themselves out of that. And it's just like, well, do better. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
but here he got his payday. So, I mean, they're kind of fucked, bro. Like they have to pay him. They don't have money to pay others. They did not plan this out well.
No, they didn't. And part of it too is it doesn't help they're in the AFC North. So Steelers, Ravens, Browns, who cares?
Browns, man. Yeah, but the Steelers and Ravens, to your point.
They're going to be there every year in your way. So in order to even have a chance to go through that gauntlet of those 6 games, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta have to figure it out. But it's Cincinnati; they're known for not paying. Again, salary cap. You can only go so far. And if you paid Burrow $60 million, then someone else is going to suffer.
This is why Howie Roseman, Les Snead, they're winning executives of the year. They're winning Super Bowls because it's an art and a science, right? There's a human side of it, but there's also the number side of it. And people who are good at it just are so good at it. I'll even throw John Lynch in a little bit. He's trying to pivot now. They didn't quite win a Super Bowl with it, but you know what? They've been relevant for the past decade. And they just know how to make it work. You know what I mean? And you got to pay people on time. just a little above market, but early. That way it's not stacking up against you, re-signing Higgins or franchising him and waiting on Chase and waiting on Burrow, just waiting to pay people that you're going to pay just doesn't make sense. If you know you're not going to pay him, of course, wait. Like with the Niners and Purdy, they still don't know whether or not they're going to pay him now. That is understandable. You're going to pay Joe Burrow, are you not? You're going to pay Jamar Chase, are you not? Then just fucking pay him.
And the earlier you pay them, one, you don't have to pay them more because the longer you wait, the more it's going to get. But also, you can then restructure year to year like these guys do in order to, one, still get them paid, but also create cap space to keep other players around. Like Dak Prescott did a huge restructure to create a lot of cap space and give the Cowboys an opportunity to bring other guys in. So if you sign them early, it's going to hurt now, but it'll give you more flexibility with things later down the line.
You know what hurts constantly? Losing them. That hurts to other teams. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's exactly, we don't have anything on the Chiefs. They've done a couple small things. Their team's kind of stacked. But that's exactly what Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones did. They restructured and opened up like $10 to $15 million worth of cap space for them. So just pay them because you can always figure it out later. Like just pay the people you know that you want to keep. Just do it.
I don't know why you wouldn't. It just makes too much sense.
Too much sense. Too much. All right. Last two teams. Actually, teams that are living in the past. Let's go with that. 90s football, baby. All right. The Dallas Cowboys aren't good in free agency. They haven't spent more than $6 million on a free agent since 2015.
Jeez.
$6 million. That's not even a lot of money in the NFL. You know?
God, I didn't know it was bad. I didn't realize it was that bad. Shit.
We'll get to that in a second, but Kyle Juszczyk for the fullback for the Niners is making $4 million. So 6 isn't a lot. He's a fullback. Nobody uses fullbacks.
I was just gonna say, fullback that nobody else would use besides the Niners makes $4 million. Jeez.
$4 million. You can sign someone for 6, guys. Come on, figure it out. But they don't. They lose Rico Dowdle. I forgot where he went to, but they did sign 2 running backs. The running backs were a problem last year until Rico got going. Losing your guy, Pollard. Losing Pollard. Yeah, you may not like him, but he helped. Dallas. They signed Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, both kind of average, no?
Yeah, the Cowboys have just been trying to figure out that position. It seems like ever since they let Ezekiel go or he started going downhill, it's just been a rotation of guys. And I don't ever know what the Cowboys are doing anyway. As you said, I didn't realize, I know they don't spend a lot in free agency. I didn't realize that little amount. And no wonder they only re-sign their own guys, but that never seems to pay off in the long run. So maybe change the philosophy of how you do things.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a crazy thought.
Well, don't worry. Jerry Jones will eventually figure it out. If it's from the grave, maybe, but he'll figure it out. They also pretended to watch us. We're actually super interested in Cooper Kupp. We might be thinking about Cooper. Yeah, right. You guys weren't signing Cooper Kupp. You guys don't even know how to re-sign freaking CeeDee Lamb. Now you're going to go get Cooper Kupp. Shut up.
Yeah.
But another big loss is actually on their defensive line. DL is off of their DL. DeMarcus Lawrence decided that he was going to bounce. He didn't want to be in Dallas anymore, so he decided to leave. He's trying to kind of, I don't know. Where did he go? I kind of forgot because the where he went is really kind of
it's better of a team if I remember right?
No. But that doesn't. Oh man, the Seahawks. So he signed with the Seahawks.
Again, he doesn't know what they're doing. Perfect team to go to.
Yeah, but what was funny, and this is why I didn't remember who the heck he signed with, is because this was an exchange that we saw. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen. DeMarcus Lawrence was interviewed by someone in Seattle, just kind of asking him, what he's excited for, et cetera, et cetera. Let's kind of watch this clip real quick.
Dallas is my home. I made my home there. My family lives there. I'm forever going to be there, but, I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. So, yeah. We here.
Wow. DeMarcus Lawrence, welcome to the Seahawks. Thanks for joining us.
So, obviously that's some shade, but as you can see from what I'm sharing, this is actually a Micah Parsons repost. Micah Parsons didn't take that too lightly. He said, this is what rejection and envy look like. This is some clown shit. Threw up the clown emoji. I kind of like it. I love when football players get mad at each other for making millions and millions of dollars and then just throwing shade at their old team. But, I'm here for it. It's kind of funny. I like to see it. I'd like to say DeMarcus isn't wrong, but I would say he's not right by where he went.
Yeah, but also I just think it's funny because even the guy interviewing him was like, "Wow, okay, well, thanks." You can tell he's like, he actually said that. I can't believe he knows where I'm interviewing with a microphone and a camera, right? Like he said that.
He's gonna be on the internet, right?
Okay. Whatever. So I love the fact that he didn't give a shit and he said it. And again, I'm with you. I like the back and forth. He's tweeting at him. Oh, okay. And then DeMarcus came back out later too, like something about you in the locker room and energy. So there's just a bunch of. So I hope Seattle and Cowboys play each other next year. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but if not, it'll be a lot of fun if they do. That'll be fun. So, especially the two defense. It's too bad they're both on defense, so they're gonna beat the shit out of it.
Technically play each other. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Oh man.
They do not.
Ah, boo. Okay. Maybe
no NFC. Yeah, no. They look like they play the NFC West. Oh wait, no, that's just me. That's why they just play the Seahawks.
All right. Well,
they play the NFC North, I think. Okay, that's what it is. They play the NFC North. Okay. Anyways, so again, not much to talk about with the Cowboys. So moving on to the other team that is still living in the 90s. The San Francisco 49ers. They have spent a bunch of money, and it's all coming to fruition here. They had to really cut some people here. The names aren't even people like I can literally name all these people, and everybody kind of knows all of them. So, Corey, you want to run through the list quickly? See some of these names that they've lost?
Oh, man. Okay. Javon Hargrave, Malik
Starter.
Leonard Floyd.
Starter.
Aaron Banks.
Nah. Actually, backup left guard. But if you know anything about the Niners, their left guard is Trent Williams. So if you're backing up anybody, that seems like a good one to back up.
Yeah, and we mentioned obviously Deebo Samuel got traded to the Washington Commanders, so he's no longer here. Dre Greenlaw, their
starter
linebacker, who was one of the best that they've had. Various Ward, and I'm going to mess his last name. You might want to try it for me, Brendan, because I'm not even going to try to.
Talana Hufanga.
Yeah.
Hufanga.
Yeah, that guy. I didn't even want to try to butcher that badly. But yeah, again, a lot of pieces coming off.
Also
this is the same. Yeah, but again, the Niners went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and you kind of thought, okay, they're going to lose some pieces. They didn't lose a lot, but now it seems like the Bills coming due. These guys are all leaving. It seems like they don't know if they're going to pay Purdy or not, so who knows what they're going to be at quarterback. They've traded Deebo, and Ayuk tore his ACL last year, so who knows how he's going to be.
He wants out too. All of a sudden, he's mad again, even though he was mad last year. They made him happy. Now he's mad again.
So I don't know what's going on up in Santa Clara. So good luck to the Niners.
It works for me, to be honest with you. I love it. I love to see it. They also cut Kyle Juszczyk, and then about an hour ago they re-signed Kyle Juszczyk. I went through the contracts. Corey and I were talking about this before. Basically, in the end, what he got out of and what he signed into, they're saving about $1.5 million a year for the next 2 years. Whatever that helps them with, I guess that helps them. But $1.5 million, that's not enough to sign a player, but maybe that helps them re-sign somebody. I
don't know.
That's what Brock's new contract is.
Brock really needs that extra $1 million in there, I guess.
maybe that's the signing bonus or something. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. We do have one other huge signing. I think is a pretty good one. I'll share it on the screen here too. I saved this one for last because this one was kind of like kind of important in my opinion. So let's kind of throw this up on the screen here as well. The Giants, the New York Football Giants, are doing work. They signed T-Pain. T-Pain. No, they didn't. They signed James Hudson III. That's no disrespect to James Hudson. But T-Pain decided to post. He took a picture of it, thought it kind of looked like him, and he said he is finna turn this franchise around.
Oh, T-Pain playing into I love it. That's even better, the fact that he was the one that reacted to it. And the guy does look a lot like him in this photo, at least T-Pain in his prime, what I remember when we used to listen to him.
True. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hilarious and well played by T-Pain to make a big old joke out of it too.
I just like it. Like he's going to turn the Giants around. I'm doing his baby, turning it around. Yes, he's going down. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, there's a bunch of little moves here and there, but we tried to give some of the biggest ones for some of the main teams, at least the ones who did a plethora of moves. If there was one move made by somebody, then it was probably not talked about. But these are the ones we wanted to kind of get out there. Let us know down in the comments below. Who do you think was making the biggest move this offseason?
And did your team do anything? Or are you like me, you worried and confused? I don't know, but hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at RViewFTB, or like Brendan said here in the YouTube comments.
Exactly. Thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate it as always. For seeing things from Ari from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace. Football season's here.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.